Any whoozy.
What do you mean?
Any whoozy. Get you some business, kid.
We don't even know if we're going to Daddy's.
You don't, exactly. Is this a crazy angle? Yes. But I'm gonna talk to y'all because one, I don't have anywhere to prop this phone up. Two, the way I ain't talked to y'all all day, but listen, I didn't do nothing. It just turned out that way. I didn't do anything. Baby, that sun. Yeah, it's doing things. Oh, the little sparkle of that was so cute. Anyway, I'm on my way to the grocery store to go get me some chips. Okay, I have not had any. I am finna get a few of my mama chips at this seat right here, but I don't be eating the same chips that my niece and nephew get at the house. And also, I haven't been outside all day other than to let the Spectrum man in this morning because the Wi-Fi went out momentarily. So y'all be getting 2 vlogs today. Y'all are going, and this one is going to be incredibly short. Honestly, more than anything, I just want to be consistent. So this is my attempt at that. So y'all gonna get whatever it was. So just like a quick rundown of my day, what it actually looks like. So I mean, this light ain't moving at all. Baby, that air is loud. It ain't even, it's not even hot. So I woke up really, really early. I woke up at like 7:30. Mind you, I did not go to bed till like 11:30 maybe last night because I was up watching Bob's Burgers. And there we go. I was up watching Bob's Burgers. If y'all shift a little bit, it's okay. And I went to bed a little bit late, but I was up. Like, I was fully up, alert. Like, it wasn't one of those days where I could just turn over and go back to sleep because I wasn't sleepy. Like, I rested, apparently, well enough. Excuse me, thanks, Jeff. Well enough that I could wake up, and I've been up ever since. There was a brief moment where I needed a little nap, but other than that, I've been up. So there was that, and then so I am my niece and nephew's teacher for this year because we got to get some fundamentals going, honey, because clearly. But the Wi-Fi wasn't working, so I wasn't able to finish my lessons like I want to because I had to use my phone. I couldn't use my laptop. And I could have used the hotspot, but like it's choppy and it doesn't work as well. And then in certain areas of the house, I don't have as good service as like the front of the house. So it just would have been a lot to do on my phone and trying to do other stuff and all of that. So I did not do a lot today. We went over, we started English or started language arts. So it's not like consistent all the way through. We've done mostly math, and honestly we've gone through the majority of math that they would need to know for this year. I'm gonna give them a break from a lesson specifically. They're still gonna get work, but I'm gonna give them a break from lessons so that they can, I knew that was, see, y'all doing a lot, and I'm gonna let y'all have it, amen. And I'm gonna give them a break from lessons, and we're gonna just rehash until they get the bulk of the fundamentals down, to the point that I don't have to keep reminding them and like taking points off of the same stuff and all of this type of stuff, and we keep having our same conversation. And then I want to make sure that if there's something that they're not getting, that I can present different ways to do it, and then like draw connections, real connections between the stuff they're doing now and the stuff that they will be doing, right? And how it relates to other subjects and things of that nature. So excuse me. So yeah, I was doing that today, and I mean, it is dead. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, so doing that, and then we started officially started English and language arts lessons today. So we're going over grammar, right? So right now we're doing the parts of speech, and we did nouns. So okay, that's why you don't need to be on folks behind at the food store. So I done been to the store back. Okay, listen, I'm getting used to this, y'all, okay? So, yeah. So back to what we were doing. We went over parts of speech and nouns. Y'all probably about to follow again. Hold on. I ain't go a little different, but hopefully y'all don't follow. But okay, I'm gonna talk to y'all from down here. Anywho, back to our day. So we did all of that, and we got through that. It was a very short day. I already knew it was gonna be that because the Wi-Fi has been out since yesterday morning, so I already knew we weren't gonna get to do nothing. So I wasn't really worried about it. I just, was trying to be productive. And then I got caught up because this morning when I woke up, for like the first 2 to 3 hours or so of the day, I was reading my word and all of that. And when we got done with that brief lesson, I keep looking this way because that's the way that the phone is, but y'all are down here. Hey, y'all. But, so I got up, did that because Tremaine came and I was kind of watching what he was doing, and then he ended up having to come in and replace the modem and all of that stuff. So we went ahead and did that brief lesson because he got the Wi-Fi working. He got the Wi-Fi working, and then I helped them with some homework. I ended up having to take one of the pages out because I realized that it required math that they had not learned like fully. Like, we haven't had lessons on it, how it works, what things mean. So I ended up having to take out a whole page because neither one of them did it. So and it ended up requiring them to do algebra, and one of them has only... I want to preface this by saying we're in Texas, so do with that information what you will. They have really done a number on this curriculum, and from what I can see, like, my niece was in 6th grade last year, and she started to do algebra, but it was like dead in the middle of the year, and then like right after that, they literally did algebra for 2 weeks and then did not do it anymore. So of course she don't remember nothing. That was in like January. I was in January. It is October. They don't know. And I realized when I was explaining it to them, and then I started to like help them through it, because I was going to do a couple of examples so that they knew what to do. And then as I was doing it, I said they don't know how to do this. Because we did a very, 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 very brief, and it wasn't even a mini lesson. It was just for that specific problem that we were solving. We ended up doing algebra, but we have not gone in depth into it, like defining terms and what it's for, what it means. We ain't got into none of that. So they weren't going to be able to do it. And the only reason they were able to do the example that I gave them was because I related it to fractions, right? So, and it was specifically in the solving of it, right? So that was like a brief introduction to them. A very, very, like, the simplest form of algebra, solving for a variable, isolating the x that you could do. And that's it. What this was, it was so much involved. They're still learning how to do factoring past, like, 50, really. And it's a lot. And it's really not even their fault. Some of it is. But it's really not. Like, the curriculum was all over the place, because I literally went last year to, like, because I wanted to help my niece, because I realized she was she was struggling in math. So I wanted to help her, and I went to do that, and I realized the kids are confused because the curriculum is confusing. It has them all over the place. So, like, how you doing algebra in the middle of the year, or how you doing algebra in January after you have come back at this point from a 2.5 week break, and then you doing algebra, and then once that sliver of algebra is gone, you doing balance and checkbooks, and then mean, median, mode, and range. Why didn't you learn that first? Because mean, median, mode, and range are... I realize I jumped that up, but mean, median, mode, and range are literally, like, mostly observation. And then a little subtraction with range, and then with mean, which is essentially the average, some adding and dividing. It is not complicated. Why weren't they doing that first? How you get to algebra in the middle of the year and then don't revisit it for the rest of the year? What? You could have just not even done it. Or that could have been like, after testing is done, let's give an introduction into algebra, because you're going to be doing algebra when you get to 7th grade. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, Chad. All I know is my education wasn't like this. It wasn't like this at all. My experience in Dallas ISD was nothing. I'm not saying it was the best experience anybody could ever have, but, like, I had really good teachers. The curriculum made sense. The order made sense. We had to do everything by hand. I didn't get my hands on a good graphing calculator until, was it 8th grade? 8th grade. 7th or 8th grade. And I'm sure, you know, that there are people that are more advanced than that and all of that type of stuff, and they doing it in 5th grade, whatever. Baby, in the U.S. of A., in Texas specifically, and I can only speak for Texas, that was like 7th, 8th grade, right? Right. But even still, if you didn't understand how to set up problems, if you didn't know how to read and comprehend and extract necessary information, then you having a calculator was useless. Same as when I took, and I didn't actually have to, but I did end up doing it, and honestly it helped my GPA, so I wasn't too mad at it. But I ended up taking Jesus Christ. I ended up taking calculus, a business version of calculus, whatever, which basically means you don't do all of the things, but you do enough of the things. And we had Mathway. And my professor literally told us, she said, honey, y'all are not going to, y'all are business students. If you go into business, any form, any sector of business, you are not going to be doing any of this by hand. You will have some sort of calculating system, except something that will be doing these calculations for you. What you need to learn how to do is use a system to operate it in a way where you are setting up the system to help you solve the problem. Because if you set it up wrong, you're going to get the answer wrong. But that was college again. And I was a business student. So they're like, one thing about business folks, and I don't even know why I tried to do it. I know why. But one thing about me and like the way my mind works, the way I grew up, and you know what makes sense to me versus doesn't, and all of that stuff, baby, I am a let's get it done as efficiently as possible, because we want it to be done. That's why I say efficiently and not quickly, because those mean different things. Quickly means quickly. It means to get it done fast. Unfortunately for others, I want it done right. So let's get it done efficiently. How can we get it done well quickly? How can we do both? And that is essentially what efficiency is. So like, how can we get this done well quickly? And that is business people to a T. So getting it done well quickly for calculus for a business student is figure out how to use this. As a matter of fact, before you come to class in a couple of days, you need to just spend 30 minutes to an hour figuring out how this system works. Put in some problems. I'm gonna give you here's a practice problem. You know what I mean? And move on with your day. These poor kids, I don't know. There's a war on intellect and intelligence and knowledge and the getting of knowledge and comprehension. I did not realize how many people, not just children, but people, full-grown adults who were illiterate. I had no clue. I had no idea. And it's not that they cannot understand words. It's that they can't read the words, right? They can't see and recognize, break them down, whatever, but they don't understand what they are reading. And unfortunately, those adults, some of them are in charge of the school, the administration, the curriculum, and things of that nature. And I can tell, because they're literally teaching our children. I don't have children, but I'm an aunt and whatever. Then my kids too, you know, by proxy, by way of having a brother. But well, I have whatever, by having, you know, one of my brothers having children. But it just, I don't even know what to say sometimes. It's just, they're teaching our children how to rely on that. You can't even rely on their memories, but they're teaching them how to rely on systems and technology and all of the things, and they can't do anything by themselves. Like my niece and nephew, when we started this, they would literally be exhausted trying to take naps in the middle of the day, because I have them write everything by hand. You taking notes by hand. Matter of fact, we're gonna have a whole class over other skills that you need to be a good student. One of our first lesson, note taking. Because I can't speak for nobody else, but they are not going to do well if they cannot think, if they cannot read. And I truly believe that that's intentional, but I ain't going for that. I'm not going for that at all. I'm your auntie and I love you, and part of loving you means making you do things you don't want to do that are actually going to be good for you. Because everybody else can be a follower, right? But we're not going to do that. And you know, a good way to not be a follower is to have confidence. A good way to build confidence is to do hard things. You know what's hard? Trying to keep up with notes. Trying to do things by hand and not relying on super easy methods that don't require you to think. I feel like, and this is my philosophy with them, I tell them this all the time, I am all for doing things an easier way, doing things a simpler way. However, you need to know how to do them the original way, the way that people did it before they had phones and all of these 50,000 different methods and all of this stuff. Learn how to do it the hard way first, right? Master that, build the confidence for that. And from that knowledge, from the wealth of knowledge that you have from learning, from making mistakes, from making the same mistakes over and over again, being able to identify your own mistakes without me having to tell you, take that and then learn how to do things easier. And then we can get into what makes it, like, I didn't teach them divisibility rules first, because I need you to start to recognize patterns, right? And you know what I mean? Like, I need you to start being able to recognize patterns. Okay, if this thing is divisible by this, then this is divisible. Like we had that instance today. And I'm like, I want y'all to learn it the hard way, not because I want to be hard on you, but because I want your brain to be able, I need your brain to stretch. Not your brain, your mind to stretch to that capacity to be able to do those types of things. Like I tell them all the time. It stresses me out. I tell them all the time, you have to learn how to do hard things. It is a skill. It is a muscle that is strengthened over time. You know how you become resilient and you become smart and you become wise and knowledgeable. You learn, you study, you listen, you do hard things. And then hard things become easier to do. One thing that the Lord has been doing with me, y'all, aside from just completely reestablishing my identity in Him in this last year to, I would say, max 2 to 3 years, 2 years specifically, from this month, like almost to the day, in a few weeks, it's reestablishing my identity in Him. And one of the things that He has had to work on in me is rebuilding resilience. I used to be resilient, and then I became the woe is me girl. Oh my God, I can't believe it. All of the crap. Okay. But like, no, because I'm not going to be able to do the hard things. I'm not going to be able to do the things I want to do. I'm not going to be able to do something like this, like sitting here talking to people and they're posting it on YouTube. Opening myself up to people's critiques about the fact that I'm a Christian and I'm black and I'm all, you know what I mean? Like, I'm opening myself up to that, but I have to be willing to stand in that, right? And a part of a big reason for me even, doing it and wanting to do Vlogtober and all of that, like I have two main goals. One is opportunity. I'm just open to seeing what opportunities come from this, right? What opportunities come from putting myself out there. But then the next thing and the big thing and the foundation of that is simply being willing to take risk and put myself out there, right? Not opening myself up to, let me rephrase that. This is essentially a form of exposure therapy, right? And getting over other people's opinions, thoughts, and this and that and the other. Social media, being online, being in the real world, okay? Because believe it or not, social media is a reflection of what's going on in the world, and how people act online is how people act in real life. They might not be as bold when it comes to certain things, but like this, always feeling like you have to have an opinion that's, being contrarian and all of those things, the lack of literacy and comprehension and all of that is very present in real life. And social media is just an exacerbated, saturated place of it. But like, this is just a way for me to put myself out there and kind of get over the fears and the concern and the worry about what people have to say about me. Like, oh well, I'm opening myself up to classmates, friends, old friends, people that I have dated before. I have had to block a couple, but my God, like, that don't mean that them suckers ain't resilient. They might create a new... You just don't ever know what people are going to do. But I'm opening myself up to my family seeing this. And it's terrifying. But at the end of the day, the Lord has not given me a spirit of fear, but a peace, love, and a sound mind. His perfect love casts out fear. It literally hurls it. His love hurls it away from me. And amen. And that's all there is to it. For the rest of my day, I'm gonna go watch. I don't think I actually finished that Bob's Burger episode. I'm gonna go potentially finish that. I'm gonna eat, and then I am going to study my words some more and do some more of that, and then I'm going to bed. Oh, and Abbott Elementary. I need to watch Abbott Elementary. I need to catch up on Project One Way and get that. And I got so much other stuff to focus on. I think I'm going to get to it, but it's going to be super brief. It was going to be a whole series, but I'm not going to do that. If that happens, it'll come naturally. I'm not going to force it. I'm going to get to the other content and stuff that I have to create surrounding fashion and all of the things. I don't think that I said what my page is about and all of the things, but it's kind of a space for me to talk about the business of fashion trends, kind of like break down terminology and things like that, how fashion is history, right? And it's a direct reflection of what is going on in history at the time, what is going on with the people at the time, in the world at the time, all of the things. Fashion is a direct reflection and expression, a representation of what is going on in the world. And that differs by what's mainstream, right? So you can tell what's going on in the world by what's mainstream. You can tell what's going on in the world by what is considered revolutionary or distasteful, or what is the alternative, right? So what is considered those things, what deviates from whatever the norm is in that time. So all of those things, right? And just like commentary on things and just connecting things to people's minds so that they are more informed when they are giving commentary on things, especially when it comes to people's personal style and taste and things like that. And even the overlap, right, of beauty, specifically as it relates to personal style. There's an overlap between beauty, right? That's hair, that's makeup, that's nails. That's how you like to pamper and care for yourself. There's your actual fashion, there's clothing, right? But there's even how you decorate your space, the type of cars you like, the way that you accessorize. All of those things are a reflection of who we are. So I just like to dive into the more practical, hence the name Practically Fashioned. It's 2-part, but that was kind of like the initial thing, and God just literally revealed to me today what the other part of that was. But excuse me, y'all. But yeah, getting into the more knit and grit, the more business, the more depth and commentary surrounding things that are going on that seem frivolous but are a pretty good indication of what's going on in the world at the time. So we will get into that. I'm gonna see if I can manage some B-roll footage, but honestly probably not. So this might be good night. If not, I'll film another one. Anyway, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May He shine His light upon you and have peaceful slumber, rest, and an absolutely fantastic evening. And I will see y'all tomorrow.